Chapter 4. Pesticides and their hazards. Pesticides are substances applied to control, prevent, or repel pests. All pesticides are toxic to some plants or animals. However, they vary greatly in their toxicity and in the range of organisms that they can harm and how they are applied. How you apply pesticides and the environmental conditions under which they are applied can significantly reduce or increase potential hazards. This presentation will introduce the various types of pesticides and their hazards. The term pesticide applies to a range of products that control different types of pests. These include herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, and rodenticides. Pesticides used to control weeds are called herbicides. Examples include glyphosate or Roundup, 2,4-D, bentazone, and trifluralin. Pesticides used to control fungi and other plant pathogens are called fungicides. Examples include sulfur, copper, chlorothalonil, and certain fungicidal soaps and oils. Pesticides applied to control insects are called insecticides. There are many insecticides available for use in landscape. Some of the most common active ingredients are listed here, including imidacloprid, carbaryl, malathion, pyrethrin, permethrin, bifenthrin, and insecticidal oils and soaps. Many insecticides also control mites, but pesticides especially formulated to manage mites are called acaricides or miticides. Pesticides applied to manage rats, mice, ground squirrels, gophers, or other rodents are called rodenticides. Many of these products are quite toxic to pets or wildlife and should be placed in bait boxes or out of reach. Examples include strychnine, warfarin, diphencylamine, chlorphacinone, and zinc phosphide. Pesticides applied to control slugs and snails are called molluscicides. Metaldehyde and iron phosphate are common active ingredients in molluscicide products. Pesticide selectivity indicates the range of organisms or plants and animals killed or injured by the pesticide. A broad-spectrum pesticide kills a wide range of organisms. For instance, the insecticide bifenthrin kills all types of insect pests including ants, grubs, aphids, and caterpillars, but also kills many beneficial insects such as honeybees and natural enemies. Bifenthrin is also very toxic to fish and other aquatic animals and moderately toxic to birds and mammals. A selective pesticide kills only the organisms in a related group. A good example is the pesticide Bt, or Bacillus thuringiensis, which is only toxic to caterpillars. It's not toxic to other types of insects, including other pests such as aphids, or beneficials such as honeybees or natural enemies. It's non-toxic to fish, other wildlife, and people. Broad-spectrum pesticides are much more likely to cause environmental or health problems. Where possible, choose a selective pesticide to manage your pest. Selectivity is very important when choosing herbicides. Herbicides are plant killers and have the potential to injure or kill ornamental plants or lawns, as well as the weeds if not used properly. You need to choose an herbicide that will not injure desirable plants in the landscape. Certain herbicides are toxic to grasses, but not broadleaf plants. These herbicides, such as fluazifop, are the best choice when you're trying to kill Bermuda grass or other grasses growing in beds with broadleaf shrubs. Other herbicides are toxic to broadleaf weeds such as dandelion and clover, but do not harm grasses. These herbicides, such as 2,4-D, are good choices when trying to kill broadleaf weeds in lawns. A pesticide product is a mixture of an active ingredient and other materials, sometimes called inert ingredients, combined into a pesticide formulation. The type of formulation determines how the product will be applied and how it should be mixed up before application. Specialized application equipment may be required for certain formulations. For liquid pesticides, formulations are available that are ready to use and require no mixing. The sprayer, either a trigger pump or an aerosol, is part of the packaging. Other liquids are concentrates and must be mixed up with water. These may include liquid concentrates or wettable powders. These pesticides are applied with a sprayer. In addition to liquid sprays, some pesticides are applied dry as granules or baits. A number of insecticides and herbicides are formulated as granules for application to lawns. These are sometimes formulated together with a fertilizer product. These are applied with spreaders. Bait pellets are used for some rodenticides and some snail and slug control products. These may be applied directly or placed in bait stations. Bait granules are also available for controlling certain insects including ants, earwigs, and cutworms. Dusts are another dry formulation of pesticides. Sulfur dust is one example. However, dusts are no longer widely used in landscapes. They pose hazards because they can be inhaled and drift easily. When choosing herbicides, it is important to know whether they act as preemergent or postemergent herbicides. Apply herbicides when they will be effective. Preemergent herbicides kill weeds only before they sprout from seeds. Apply them before weed seeds germinate. If you apply them to weeds that have already emerged from the soil, they will not be effective. Because they don't kill grown plants, they are less likely to injure landscape plants than postemergent herbicides. Postemergent herbicides kill weeds that have green growth visible above the soil. They don't control weed seeds. Apply them after weed seedlings are visible above the soil. Postemergent herbicides can be further classified as contact or systemic herbicides. Contact herbicides usually kill only the green parts of the plant where the spray touches the plant. Therefore, you need to cover the whole plant with spray to get good control. Contact herbicides are most effective on young plants. They don't kill older plants or roots and are not very effective against perennials. Examples include pelargonic acid or oil-based herbicides. Systemic herbicides are taken up by the plant and transported to growing tips of roots and shoots. It may take several days for a systemic herbicide to kill a plant. However, systemics will kill older plants, including perennials, and the whole plant does not need to be sprayed to get good control. Glyphosate or Roundup and 2,4-D are examples of systemic herbicides. The terms contact and systemic are also applied to insecticides. Contact or nonsystemic insecticides only kill insects on the parts of the plant that are covered with the spray. Systemic insecticides are taken up by the plant, usually through the roots, but sometimes through trunks or leaves, and move to leaves and shoots. This is a very effective way of getting insecticides to leaves in tall trees and other areas that are difficult to cover with a spray. Some systemics may remain active in the tree, controlling insects for many months after the application. Imidacloprid is the most common systemic insecticide used in landscapes. Most insecticides used in landscapes are contact insecticides. When applying pesticides to control pests in a landscape, you want to be sure that your treatment effectively controls the pest, but you also need to make sure that the application is safe for people and the environment. 5 factors are involved in determining safety and effectiveness of a pesticide application. These include, number 1, the chemical properties of a pesticide product, including its toxicity and how long it takes for it to break down. Number 2, application procedures that effectively move the pesticide into contact with the pest, but keep it out of the environment as much as possible. Number 3, weather conditions such as wind or rain can move pesticides off target. Irrigation right after the pesticide application can do the same thing. Number 4, the condition of the treated plant. Stressed plants may be injured by pesticide applications. And finally, number 5, special site conditions, including the presence of people or wildlife that could be harmed. Let's talk about each of these factors. The first factor is the toxicity of the pesticide. Toxicity is the ability of a pesticide to injure a living organism. All pesticides are toxic to some organisms. More toxic pesticides cause injury at lower doses than less toxic pesticides. Signal words such as danger, warning, and caution give an indication of the toxicity of a pesticide. Weather conditions can have an impact on the success of a pesticide application in controlling pests. Weather can also cause unwanted environmental problems due to off-site movement. Rain can wash pesticides off plants or slopes and into storm drains. Wind may blow pesticides off-site during or after an application. Temperature is a consideration because some pesticides injure plants when it's too hot. Sunlight may break down some pesticides before they kill the pest. How do pesticides move in the environment? Pesticides may move away from the target site by drifting in the air. They may also be moved off the application site with water from rain or sprinkler systems flowing into storm drains. Some pesticides attach themselves to soil particles and are moved into storm drains in mud or sediment. Storm drain pipes often empty directly into creeks, rivers, or oceans that support fish and other aquatic wildlife. Pesticide residues in the water will kill these organisms and threaten water quality. When some pesticides move unintentionally onto landscape plants, they may cause injury. Phytotoxicity is the term used to refer to injury to plants caused by pesticides or other chemicals. Herbicides are the most common type of pesticide causing harm to desirable plants. Examples of damage by the herbicides glyphosate and 2,4-D are shown here. Insecticides and other pesticides may cause injury in some cases as well. Pesticides may drift onto the landscape plants, or they may be taken up through the roots to cause injury. For instance, trees such as the one shown in the top left photo, growing in lawns, may be injured by dicamba herbicide applications when they take the pesticide up through their roots. Phytotoxicity from some pesticides is more often seen when plants are water stressed or when temperatures are very hot. In order to protect people from possible injury, it is important to consider how they might be injured along every step of the application. Applicators are often exposed to pesticides during the mixing process. Pesticides can get on applicators through splashing, spills, or breakage of application equipment, such as leaky hoses. Spills endanger others as well. During application, people can be exposed through drift. Applicators expose themselves if they don't wear the proper protective equipment. After the application is completed, residues on plants or treated sites may pose hazards. Residues on protective gear or clothing can cause injury to applicators if the equipment is not handled properly. Pesticides can enter your body through the skin, mouth, lungs, or eyes. Skin contact is the most common type of pesticide exposure. Skin exposure may result in a rash or mild skin irritation or burns. Pesticides absorbed through the skin may be carried by blood to other parts of the body. Pesticides may get into your mouth by splashing. You may also accidentally take in pesticides if you touch your mouth with your gloves. People may also eat contaminated food or liquid. Children or others may accidentally drink pesticides. The lungs may be contaminated by pesticides when they're breathed in. Some pesticides cause very serious lung injury. Dust can be hazardous to the lungs. Eyes may be injured by pesticides and become severely irritated. Eyes also provide a route of entry for pesticides that can move to other parts of the body through circulation in your blood. Always wear protective eyewear to prevent eye exposure. Some parts of the body absorb pesticides faster than others. The skin on the head, the armpits, and the groin can absorb pesticides much faster than the skin on the forearms or hands. The type and severity of injury caused by pesticide exposure depends on the toxicity of the pesticide you are using, the amount absorbed into your body, and how fast your body is able to break it down or excrete it. Symptoms of pesticide poisoning often resemble symptoms from other causes. Some example symptoms include rashes or skin reddening, eye irritation, headache, dizziness, blurred vision, nausea or vomiting, cramps or diarrhea, or flu-like symptoms. You need to see a doctor to confirm the cause of symptoms and get immediate treatment. In summary, your chances of causing a problem when you apply a pesticide depend on several factors. These include the choice of the pesticide chemical, how you apply the pesticide and how you protect yourself, weather conditions and watering practices, the condition of the treated plants, and the proximity of people, wildlife, or sensitive environments that could be harmed. This is the end of the presentation for Chapter 4, Pesticides and Their Hazards. This would be a good time to review the sample test questions and workbook exercises for Chapter 4.